Okay, 61st verse. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matpara vashepi yashendriyani tasya pragyapatishtitam. Tani, who said those senses sarvani all samyamya, keeping under control, yukta engaged asita, should be situated matpara in relationship with me, vashe, in full subjugation, he certainly yasha, one whose Indriyani senses tasya his pragya, consciousness, patishtita, fixed, one who, translation, one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Purport. That is the highest conception of yoga perfection in Krishna consciousness. Sorry, that the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not possible. It is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa Muni picked a quarrel with Maharaja Ambarish, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful a yogi as a sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustice and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualifications as mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18 to 20. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu varnane karau harer mandira marjana dishum shrutim chakarachyuta satkathodaya Mukunda lingalaya darshane drishau tadbritya gatra spashe anga sangamam granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe श्रीमत् तुलस्या रसनाम तद अर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्र पदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पदाभि वन्दने कामं च दासे न तु कामकाम्यया यथोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रया रतिम्. King Ambarish fixed his mind. This translation of these verses. King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleaning the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulasi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy places where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. And all these qualifications made him fit to become a Matpara devotee of the Lord. The word Matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become Matpara is described in the life of Maharaj Ambarish. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great scholar and acharya in the line of the Matpara, remarks Mad Bhakti Prabhavena Sarvendriya Vijaya Purvika Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhava. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. The senses can be completely controlled. Mark these words, completely controlled by the only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given. As a blazing fire burns everything within a room, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so called yogis who meditate on something other than Vishnu simply waste their time in a vain search for some phantasmagoria. We have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of the real yoga. So, as we know that we must have heard this repeatedly in Gurudev's lectures that the yoga term means what? Yoga means to relink, Yok, it comes from the word yokt, which means to relink. So we have to relink with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the actual purpose, the meaning of yoga. So becoming Krishna conscious is the only way we can actually control our mind and senses and be perfectly situated in yoga. That's real yoga. So we'll stop here because next few verses, these are a series of verses where Krishna mentions that how one falls down into the material consciousness or the material pool. It begins with contemplating the senses and lust develops and anger, step by step. So 60 seconds, 63rd. So it is good that we discuss them all together, 2-3 verses. Now it's almost time, so we will stop here. And thank you so much for joining. Rajavidya Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Hare Krishna.